Welcome to the Fantasy Happy Hour. Fantasy Happy Hour. Presented by Sportsneak. With your hosts, Justin Sauce and Terry Licious. Starting in 3, 2, 1.
Boom. Welcome back. Fantasy Happy Hour. We're here for a Thanksgiving double showdown here for our friends in America. We're going to be diving right into this first one here. Las Vegas Raiders versus the Dallas Cowboys. What do you got for our Thanksgiving showdown here, Taryn?
Weird thoughts on this game because I was high on the Raiders in the early season, then every controversy hit them, and now they just seem like they're kind of sliding a little bit. Cowboys as well kind of go up and down week by week, but they still have pretty good records. So they're 7-3, Raiders are 5-5. This total is the highest of that day of the Thanksgiving slate, 51. Cowboys 7-point favorites. Cowboys lost last week to the Chiefs there, and 19-9. They lost a lot of guys due to injury through that game, so we're going to talk about that a bit. Raiders, they're taking a bit of a beating on the ground of the Bengals. They're now on a 3-game losing streak. They just don't look the same. Like, they started so well, they're throwing the ball a ton, and then teams are starting to just cover Waller, and it seems like they just can't get anything going. He had his first kind of game again last week, but it's the first time in I think 3-4 weeks. So let's see if the Cowboys go to the ground game and do what Mixon did to the Raiders there last week, or can the Raiders paint a new path, maybe start back on a win streak, change the narrative a bit here lately. So it's great to see Waller back, but let's talk about the injuries before we dive in too deep here. Amari Cooper, not Cooper Kupp, is COVID, but he was on the non-vaccinated list, so he is almost certain to not play because they do require 10 days, and it was last Friday. I think he went onto the list, so he's likely not to be back is what I'm reading right now. Zeke's questionable with a knee. They kind of expect him to play. He was limited at practice today on a Monday. CeeDee Lamb went out with a concussion last week, didn't practice today, so watch that news. I really like him if he's in, but it's looking pretty up in the air right now. Tyron Smith's expected back, which is big news for the Cowboys. That's one of their offensive linemen, so the run game should take a good uptick with that. And the Raiders, it's mostly on the defensive side of the ball. There wasn't too much for injury news on the offensive side. So I guess when you start to look at this game, where do you go? Because, the Cowboys are out a lot of guys. So I like captaining Josh Jacobs in this game. 2 weeks ago in Denver ran all over the Cowboys between the two running backs. I think it was just shy of 200 yards total. And his price is just unbelievable to put at the captain spot. I think he's only 6,800. And so when he's at the captain, he's 10,200, which is just, real underpriced for the main running back on a team. And that's where the Cowboys have struggled, 2 weeks ago. And he's getting 4 to 5 receptions a game too. He's not seeing as much groundwork, but without Gruden, maybe they're changing their tune a bit. That was Gruden's big philosophy. So I really like him. It saves a lot of cap and opens up the rest of the board. And then I like pairing him on that side with Darren Waller. He's kind of back. He got scripted out a few weeks ago, 2 games back to back. And then last week, he finally gets back to 10 targets, over 100 yards. And I think he was half of Derek Carr's looks in that game. So just, huge uptick. The receivers beside him, Hunter Renfrew is a really good option, but he's not going to get a blow up game. So I like Darren Waller. And then even if Zeke plays, I really like Tony Pollard here. Zeke went out last game. He's re-aggravated an injury that's been lingering, which is always bad news to, start a guy. And even if he's questionable, I expect he's going to be limited in his workload. And Tony Pollard is going to see, 50% of that work. I actually really like Tony Pollard. He's way more efficient with the ball. The only thing is he likely doesn't get the goal line work as much. So that's where Zeke comes in all the time. But he's going to get tons of passing work and tons of work in the ground game. So I like him. And then, with all these receivers out, if it's down to Gallup, and I think Dalton Schultz is the best play for a receiver, 8 targets there last week, averages about 6 targets a game on the season. And Blake Jarwin's still out on IR, so they really don't have that other tight end to steal anything from him. So he gets a ton of work. So those are the 4 I like right away. And then if I'm going to go to the quarterback, I'd probably go to Dak here. Just because I'm taking Josh Jacobs at captain, so you don't really want to take the quarterback with him primarily running running back. So Dak here with Zeke out, I think he might call his own number. So that's where you're going to see him kind of poach away that goal line work from Pollard, but hopefully Pollard can bust a longer one. I just don't like Dak captain quite yet. I'm just not ready to see it. The pass rush has been good there for the Raiders. So that's one of their highlights, Max Crosby. And then you have to fill this with a cheap guy, and I picked Malik Turner. You go to the depth of the Cowboys receiving core, pick a guy. They have quite a few down there, so each of them get a bit of work, or did last week. Just, of course, monitor the news. I mean, if CD Lamb's in, he's probably the best play in this game. He's just an unbelievable receiver. And then, so I went to someone to fill the roster. Look deep, though. The Cowboys have quite a few receivers in the $400, $200 range that are going to be a third man, possibly even a second man in, based on injury news, because all they have is Gallup and then Cedric Wilson. And Cedric Wilson's not a really key guy, but I don't know. This could go either way. Might be able to go to a defense, but I'll send it to you for double doink central.
Awesome. Well, here at the double doink, we're going over to Las Vegas first. Carlson marked with the Q tag right now. He's looking kind of ill, some sort of illness there. I'm sure it'll come off before the end of the week here and Thursday towards the holidays. However, I would still stick with the fade. Nothing spectacular in terms of points there. He's had a couple good weeks, but the struggling Raiders, better options here as he laid out. But if you're looking to be a little bit different, depending on what your game script says here, I do like Zerline. He was out. This was his first week back. The week before, he was out with some COVID stuff. Decent on the year, 81%, 17 for 21 on the field goals, 56 yarders, his longest one. And field goal percentage, 21 for 23, money in the bank. But the only interesting stat here is with the Cowboys is he's not got to kick an extra point here in the last 2 weeks that he's played. So you got to be careful. I wouldn't be filling him in all your lineups, but if you want to plug him in here and there, if you're doing multiple, then not a bad option. You know, he averages almost 10 fantasy points a game and reasonably priced. So yeah, Taryn, what are you thinking for the score on this game?
I think it's going to be on the underside of that 51 total. I just have a feeling both these defenses have played quite well this season. I mean, they've had spot games. I mean, of course, you had the streak with Trayvon Diggs having 8 interceptions through 7 games. So their defense can step up on the odd game. I think there's a lot of injuries across the defensive side of the ball, though, so that's kind of the risk. But I see somewhere in the low 20s for both of these teams, or like a 24-17 or something like that in the kind of mid-range.
Awesome. Well, thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our American viewers from up here in Canada. Ours was a month ago. And yeah, if you like it, give it a thumbs up or comment, let us know what you're taking, and enjoy the holidays. And if you're really intrigued, watch our next video for the Thursday nighter. Peace.